Jake is 22 years old, fresh out of college, first real job, not making crazy money, just enough to pay rent, survive, and maybe save a little. Emma is also 22. Same age, same city, similar salary, similar life. Neither of them is rich. Neither has special stock-picking skills. Neither understands complex finance. But one small decision quietly changes everything. Jake decides to invest $300 every month, starting now. Not because he's a genius, not because he knows what the market will do, not because he's obsessed with finance. He just hears one sentence from an older coworker. The earlier you start, the less you actually need. So he opens an account, picks a simple S&P 500 index fund, turns on automatic investing, and moves on with life. Emma does something most people do. She waits. Not forever. Just until life feels more stable. She tells herself she'll start investing later when salary is higher, savings are bigger, and life feels less chaotic. And honestly, that sounds reasonable. At 22, retirement feels fake. 40 years sounds infinite. The idea of sacrificing money now for a version of yourself that feels like a stranger feels difficult. So Emma delays, not because she's irresponsible, because she thinks she has time. And that belief is about to become very expensive, because over the next 40 years, one of these two builds life-changing wealth. The other still does well, but the gap between them becomes painful to look at. And what makes it crazy is this. They invest the exact same amount every month. Same market. Same returns. Same discipline. The only difference is when they begin. My name is Nick, and today we're looking at one of the most brutal truths in personal finance. Why starting 10 years earlier can matter more than investing twice as much later. And once you see the math, you may never look at procrastination the same way again. Let's keep this fair, because that's the only way the comparison means anything. Jake and Emma both invest in the same broad market index fund. Nothing fancy. No stock picking. No crypto. No options. No leverage. Just boring long-term investing. Both invest $300 every month. Both earn the exact same annual return. We'll use 10%. That's roughly in line with long-term S&P 500 averages before inflation. Both stay invested until age 62. Simple. Clean. Fair. So at first, nothing looks dramatic. Jake starts investing at 22. Month 1, $300. Not impressive. Month 2, another $300. Still nothing exciting. His portfolio barely moves. There's no magical feeling, no fireworks, no sudden wealth. This is the part nobody talks about. Compounding feels boring in the beginning. Painfully boring. The first few years feel almost insulting. Jake invests thousands of dollars and checks his account. The growth is tiny. Sometimes the market drops, and he actually loses money. It feels slow. Too slow. This is where most people quit, because humans love visible progress. We like fast results. The gym. Business. Money. Skills. We want effort to feel rewarded immediately. Compounding doesn't work like that. Compounding hides progress early and becomes explosive later. Jake doesn't fully understand that yet. But luckily, he doesn't need to. He just keeps investing. Every month. Automatically. Without thinking too much. Meanwhile, Emma is living her life, working hard, getting promotions, spending money, enjoying her 20s. She tells herself investing can wait. 10 years feels like nothing. That assumption is about to cost her more than she can imagine. At 32, Emma finally starts. Same monthly contribution, same exact investment, same market, same everything. She's disciplined now, serious now, ready now. From this point onward, both Jake and Emma invest $300 every single month without fail. So if you looked at them at age 35, they'd both seem financially responsible. They're both investing, both thinking long-term, both doing the right thing. But hidden underneath the surface is something brutal. Jake has something Emma can never buy back. Time. This is the unfair advantage nobody can earn later. You either have it or you don't. Because money invested early doesn't just grow. It grows, then the growth grows, then that growth starts growing too. That's compounding. And the scary part is how invisible it feels until it suddenly isn't. Let's put real numbers on this. By age 32, before Emma even starts, Jake has invested $36,000 of his own money. Not life-changing money. But because those early dollars had time to compound, his portfolio is already significantly ahead. Emma starts from zero. She's motivated now. She's investing consistently now. But she's chasing a version of Jake she can't see. And every month, the gap quietly grows. Here's where most people make a huge mistake. They assume Emma can catch up by simply investing harder later. More money solves everything, right? Wrong. Because when it comes to investing, amount matters. But time matters more. A lot more. Imagine two snowballs rolling downhill. One starts 10 seconds earlier. Even if both roll at the exact same speed, the one with the head start becomes much larger because it had more time to collect snow. Investing works exactly the same way. Early dollars are ridiculously powerful because they have decades to multiply. Late dollars work hard too, but they simply have less time. Now let's fast forward. At age 42, Jake has been investing for 20 years. Emma has been investing for 10. Both are consistent. Both are disciplined. Both are doing everything right. But Jake's portfolio is already pulling away in a serious way. This is where compounding starts to become visible. Not dramatic, yet, but noticeable. And this is where people begin to feel regret, because regret in finance doesn't usually come from bad investments. It comes from lost time. You can recover from losing money. You can earn more. You can rebuild. But time is the one thing you never get back. Now let's jump to age 52. This is where things get uncomfortable. Jake's money is now compounding faster than his contributions. Read that again. His portfolio is growing more from market returns than from the money he personally adds. This is the crossover point. The point where your money starts working harder than you do. And once that happens, wealth building starts accelerating in a way that feels almost unfair. Emma is doing well too. Very well, actually. But she's still behind. Not because she made terrible decisions. Not because she was reckless. Because she waited. This is the brutal truth about delayed investing. Waiting doesn't feel expensive in the moment. It feels harmless, logical even. But the cost shows up decades later in numbers so large they feel unreal. Now let's look at age 62. Retirement age. The finish line. Jake invested $300 a month from age 22 to 62. 40 years total. Emma invested $300 a month from age 32 to 62. 30 years total. Jake contributed around $144,000 of his own money over those 40 years. Emma contributed around $108,000 over 30 years. Not a massive difference in contributions. Now look at the final portfolio values. Jake ends with roughly $1.9 million. Emma ends with roughly $680,000. Same monthly investment, same market, same strategy, same discipline. A 10-year delay created a difference of over $1.2 million. That's the cost of waiting. And here's the part that should really make you uncomfortable. Jake didn't invest millions. He invested just $300 a month. the majority of that $1.9 million wasn't his money. It was growth. Pure compounding. That's what people miss. Wealth isn't usually built by working infinitely harder. It's built by giving your money enough time to multiply. Now maybe you're thinking, okay, but what if Emma just invests more later? Fair question. So let's test that. What if Emma doubles her contribution to $600 a month starting at 32? Now she's investing twice as much as Jake every month. Surely that closes the gap, right? Not completely. Even after investing double, Emma still struggles to catch up. Because once again, time is doing the heavy lifting. Jake's early dollars had a decade of extra compounding. That head start is unbelievably difficult to overcome. This is why older investors often say the same thing. They don't wish they picked better stocks. They don't wish they timed the market perfectly. They wish they started earlier. Because once you understand compounding, you realize something strange. The hardest part of investing isn't intelligence. It isn't strategy. It isn't predicting the market. It's simply starting. Starting while it feels too early. Starting while retirement feels far away. Starting before life feels perfect. Because life rarely feels perfect. There will always be bills, always distractions, always reasons to wait. The perfect moment almost never arrives. And this is where the real lesson lives. Jake's advantage was never intelligence. He wasn't smarter than Emma. He wasn't richer. He didn't earn more. He just started before he felt ready. That's it. And that tiny decision created an enormous outcome. This is the trap most people fall into. They think investing is about finding the perfect strategy, the best stock, the best timing, the best opportunity. But the math keeps pointing to something much simpler. Time beats timing, again and again. The people who win aren't always the smartest. They're usually the ones who started early and stayed consistent long enough for compounding to do what compounding does. That's the whole game, because in the end, wealth isn't just about how much money you invest. It's about how long your money has to work. And every year you wait, you're quietly making that job harder. So if you're waiting for the perfect moment to start investing, ask yourself one question. What exactly are you waiting for? Because the market doesn't care when you feel ready. Compounding doesn't pause while you think about it. And every year you delay, the price of waiting gets more expensive. Jake and Emma both wanted financial freedom. Both worked hard. Both made good choices. One of them simply gave time a head start. And in investing, that changes everything. Because the market doesn't care when you feel ready. Compounding doesn't pause while you think about it. And every year you delay, the price of waiting gets more expensive. Jake and Emma both wanted financial freedom. Both worked hard. Both made good choices. One of them simply gave time a head start. And in investing, that changes everything. If you enjoyed this video and want more evidence-based investing breakdowns backed by real data instead of financial myths, make sure to subscribe to the Wealth Code. We publish videos every week that help you build wealth, avoid expensive mistakes, and make smarter financial decisions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.